What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I wanted to have a discussion per usual about Scream 5 and just the excitement that is surrounding it. I mean, this film seems more hyped than arguably any Scream ever. I mean, even the original. And yes, there's a lot of factors that are in play, such as, social media being such a huge aspect. In society today, everything is about social media. It's so easy to reach large audiences due to social media. So of course that's going to elevate a film such as this. But just this film in general. And I wanted to share a tweet that I saw that I really felt highlighted this and added some value to this discussion. And so here, let me pull this up real quick. So this is by Michael Kennedy, and he states, "It is good to see the buzz for Scream 2022. It is much louder than it ever was for Scream 4. I hope it's a big fat hit." And then he added, "Paramount is treating it like the event film that it is. Dimension didn't put the weight behind 4 at all, and it showed." Now, the reason I felt that this was very significant is because it's right. I mean, Paramount is treating Scream as like this iconic franchise that it is. I mean, it's built such a buzz and hype and excitement and anticipation leading up to this film. I mean, we all talk about it regularly. I mean, look at the success trajectory of this channel. As soon as I started talking about Scream, boom, I got successful. And it's thanks to all of you. And it's because of this hype and buzz around it. And Dimension never really looked at it as this gem that it was. They saw it as a cash opportunity. I mean, Scream 4, everyone was extremely reluctant on. I mean, regardless of how you felt about that film, I know that's one of the films people are sort of on the fence about. They feel like either you love it or you hate it. And Scream 4, I've said countless times that it is sort of a product of the time. Like, if that was released in 2017, 18, I think it would have been largely more successful, but that's neither here nor there, because the point is that everyone was extremely reluctant, all of the cast, including Wes Craven, to join Scream 4. And the Weinsteins wanted to do another trilogy even through the reluctancy. I mean, even Courtney Cox stated openly and publicly that she wanted to be killed off in that film, and the Weinsteins pretty much rejected it and said, "No, we're doing a trilogy." And so it never really felt like the Scream was that it was meant to be. And even the build up and hype and the promotion behind Scream 4 wasn't really pushed. It was sort of just like, "Oh, here's Scream, let's throw the banner of Scream on it. Boom, Wes Craven, show the OG3, boom, we're gonna sell tickets." And that's kind of how it felt in a lot of ways. And that was one of the big critics back then, that this film just felt like they were trying to cash grab. And it's amazing to see the excitement and enthusiasm towards a fifth installment of a franchise. I mean, obviously, there's tons of hype and excitement for, Halloween and things like that, but it's been remade and rehashed and recreated so many times. I think a lot of it has to do with just the Scream needs. We needed Scream at this time. For the most part, everything's just kind of been remakes and sort of lackluster in a lot of sense. A lot of these remakes and reboots and stuff, you're just like, yeah, I could have done without this. And there's no really injection of just quality horror. And I'm not saying that like Halloween 18 isn't a great horror, but it's a different type. It's its own thing. And not just that, but every 5 years or whatever, we get a new Halloween. You had Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then like 3 to 5 years later, boom, you got this Halloween, and this will continue. And then once we're done with Halloween Ends, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna have another probably trilogy or two of the Halloweens, because it's just that franchise. I mean, we've seen it with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. You get these pumped out. And I've even mentioned in the past that it's very likely eventually Scream 4 will kind of be the forgotten film in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously fans and stuff will remember it. The people that really enjoy and embrace Scream 4 are going to bring that up and mention it. But even now, it's when you have Scream discussions, you pretty much talk about the trilogy for the most part, and then that ongoing debate. And then Scream 4, is usually like that, oh yeah, and then this is add to the conversation. And I think we're going to get to this point where you have this trilogy, and then you have Scream 4 as like this standalone, and then you're going to have the new trilogy, and now it's kind of lost in this cluster. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not trying to knock Scream 4. I'm just trying to show the comparison because Scream 4 wasn't as hyped. And again, social media, things like that play a huge part. But just in general, I mean, Scream 4 had its problems. Scream 3 had a lot of its problems too. But beyond that, it really it wasn't perceived as this just great, like, this is a gem that we need to cherish and do it justice. And it feels like Scream 5 is that in a lot of ways. I mean, these producers are so embracing and just so willing to discuss this franchise, and you can see the genuine and inside of them. You can see the excitement that they have for this franchise. I mean, look at all the OG3. Do me a favor, if there's for any reason you disagree with the points that I'm making in regards to Scream 4 and this, go back and watch some of the OG3's interviews in Scream 4 and then watch them talk about Scream 5. It is literally night and day. Like, you can see the excitement that they have for this film and the genuine care that they have and the praises in which they're stating about this film. They weren't doing that for Scream 4. It was just your generic, yeah, we're here, yeah, it's great. Yeah, Wes is Wes, he's doing a phenomenal job. It's just the generic answers. Where they're like, these people are great. It's really a love letter. It's this and it's that, and I can't talk about how great the radio silence people are and all that stuff. And you can just see the giddiness. I mean, go look at David Arquette's most recent interview with E.T. I mean, he's just so giddy. I mean, you can just see it. Or the Drew Barrymore one is another great example. Like, he's just like this kid in a candy store talking about this Scream 5, and you see the passion, you see the excitement. And a lot of that has to do with us as well. We, the fandom, this community, everything. We are, I've said it countless times, we are the legacy. We are what keeps it going. But at the same time, none of us want a cash grab Scream film. None of us want to just have Scream continued just for the sake of having Scream continued. We want quality Scream films. And it feels like this is that. Everything just seems to be perfect. And the promotion that they're doing is genius. I mean, however you feel, whether you feel like they took too long to get a trailer and whatnot, think about how you feel about that. You're like, I get comments of like, why did it take so long? The fact that you're leaving a comment mentioning that is exactly why. You get what I'm saying? If you're following, because they wanted to build that anticipation. They wanted to build that excitement. They want people like me, and other creators talking about it. They want these Facebook groups talking about it. And you have, yes, social media hyping it up, but there's lots of films that have came out that social media was just, mentioned. Yeah, it might have been trending a little bit, but there wasn't the passion. There just seems to be so much passion for this Scream 5 film. And a lot of that has to do and credit to the radio silence people. And they've done a very fantastic job so far promoting this, setting everything up, getting us riled up, getting us excited. Obviously, creators like myself, we sort of help push that along because we're creating videos, talking about it, eyeballs are watching it, there's engagement, there's discussion, people are, commenting Scream 5 in the comments and stuff, and that's just a promotion for the film itself. But overall, it's really nice to see this freshness and just Scream 5 as a whole, just so much mystery and excitement surrounding it because none of us really know what is going to happen. I talk about all kinds of different theories and ideas and discussions, and people present them, and everyone has that spoiler that is legit. But at the end of the day, no one really knows, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, outside of the original Scream, I feel that this Scream 5 is arguably the most exciting because you have no idea what's going to happen. You have new producers, you have new directors, you have an entire new cast outside of the OG3, and we know that this film is supposed to sort of pivot off of them a lot, so they're not going to be the focus, but you have this plethora of characters, and all of them could be the opening kill, Ghostface, the final person, or just a random throwaway character. And that's the beauty, that's the excitement. Because every Scream in the past, outside of the original, you can pretty much narrow it down. There's usually only like a handful of characters. you know, 2 or 3 of them are going to be throwaways, and they're killed off in the first 10, 20 minutes of the film. So now it's really down to like 3 or 4 characters, and because you know the OG3 aren't going to be any of those characters. You know, like the random cop or whatever isn't going to be Ghostface. So you really just look at it and you're like, okay, we have these 4 characters left, and there's an hour and a half into the film, so clearly it's one of these 4. Chances are there's probably 2, so it's 2 of these 4. You get what I'm saying? Where this one, there's like 10 to 12 new characters. Even the recent like legacy characters outside of the OG3. I'm talking about like Judy and Martha. They themselves could be they have motive to be Ghostface. They have motive to be killed in the opening scene from the producer standpoint, and they have motive to be the final end and carry on in a Scream 6 from a producer standpoint. And so that, I feel like that really adds to the excitement and to the level of just angst that we have, because they've done a fantastic job. But as always, this is a discussion, and I want to hear from you. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? What do you think is the sort of key component for this excitement? Is it just the fans, it being a lapse of 11 years, you know, since the last Scream film, that we just have been dying for it? Like I said, I feel like this was much needed, you know, and back then, Scream 4, the Weinsteins were hoping that that would be the sort of catalyst. They were in an awkward space. Like if you go back and look at 2011 Dimensions, like they were in a very awkward place as far as their films go. They weren't putting out these like blockbuster phenomenal hits, and I think they were trying to recapture lightning in a bottle when it came to Scream 4, and it just fell flat because they didn't have the right intentions when creating this. Scream 5 feels like the right intentions. It feels like a film that genuinely has a group of people coming together to create this passion project. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what you want to see. That's what Scream 4 I felt was lacking in a lot of ways. It didn't feel like this passion project. It felt like a film that many people just didn't want to do or be a part of. And it showed on screen. It showed in film. And I'm not saying that Scream 4 was terrible or anything like that. It's a quality film. I enjoyed it. But I'm saying, like, compare it to, you know, the original Scream or even Scream 2. And I'm pretty sure, pretty confident that when we look back after this film's release, we're going to feel the same way. Like, oh, like compare it to Scream 5. I've said it before, this has the potential to be the best Scream yet. And obviously there's no replacing the original, but this has potential to be just great. But again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.